been fuzzy. I don't know why. There. That's all right. Okay. We're ready when you are, Greg. Thank you for being here, by the way. Sure, that's great.
I'm good.
Perfect. Thanks, Craig. Oh, perfect timing. Welcome, Jenny. Perfect timing. We're just getting started.
Great, thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the Board of Trustees special meeting on October 29th here at 7:00 p.m. Where we're going to be discussing the West Lethbridge Elementary School boundary changes. Tonight, we would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of the Treaty 7 region and Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community today. So welcome, everyone. Our agenda is before you online, and if you have a paper copy, it'll be before you there. And so first order of business is approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve, please? And Tina, is it possible to please see the members who are online? Thank you very much. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Christina, thank you. All in favor? So carried. All right, so here we have our West Lethbridge Elementary School boundary changes. We have enclosure number 1. Christine Lee, Associate Superintendent of Business and Operations, has provided a memo for us, and we're thrilled to be at this point after a couple of years of several public engagements and lots of work and conversation and committee work happening to culminate with the new school that's opening in the fall of 2025. We're very excited for that. So what I will do now is I'm going to hand it over to Christine Lee. So Christine, if you could please just provide background reports, and then we will move on with the motions. Thank you.
Put the PowerPoint up for me. I have a quick PowerPoint, which is a review of where we've been and how we got here, just for everybody. Perfect, thank you, Tina. So a lot of this you've seen, so I'll try not to take too long. So our journey started over a year ago with the formation of the School Boundary Alignment Committee, and just a reminder of the people who did the work in getting to where we are today. We have Trustee Craig Whitehead, who chaired that committee, Trustee Alison Purcell, Trustee Christine Light, and then members of Executive Council and our Director of Facility Services and our Transportation Coordinator. And the committee was tasked with 2 items: review and create new boundaries for West Lethbridge Elementary Schools for the opening of the new West Cooley Station Elementary School for September 2025, and to address growth and capacity concerns at other elementary schools. And we developed guiding principles, we looked at data, we had in-person engagement sessions, and we eventually had 3 options that were created for feedback. And so I'm going to highlight some of those real quick. So first of all, of course, the reason why we're here to do the boundary review, we need to create a new attendance area for West Cooley Station Elementary. We needed to address capacity concerns at Cobanks and Mite Mountain Horse School. And of course, because West Lethbridge is the growing city in the city, fastest area of the city of Lethbridge, that was another indication that we need to look at what the future is going to be. So our guiding principles for the review and that guided us throughout the process, one, of course, was to support the successful opening of the new school, address those capacity concerns, make sure at the end of the day we're kind of balancing out our enrollment, limiting disruptions to students and families and staff, and our community, and we know you can't avoid disruptions in this process, but to try and limit them as best as we could, and to minimize the short-term need for additional boundary changes in the future. So I want to talk about some of the engagement opportunities that we had throughout this process. We did quite a few different engagements. So we had our pre-option development engagement. So in November, we held 2 evening opportunities in West Lethbridge for the West Lethbridge community to come and listen to why we needed to change boundaries, and we're doing the review, gather their feedback on their concerns, their fears, suggestions, ideas, and just generally their perspective on a boundary review. We provided online engagement opportunities following that for those who weren't able to attend in person, as well as a survey to gather information to inform the review. In January 2024, based on information that we had gathered in November, we held an in-person engagement session with the staff and family members of the Spanish bilingual program, again to gather their perspective on the program and its benefits and value, as well as the impacts of a possible relocation, because that was suggestions that had been brought up in our in-person engagement in November. We also then surveyed directly all families of Spanish bilingual program to get their information and feedback. Then we went into, after we got all that information, the committee started looking at potential options for realigning our boundaries for West Lethbridge Elementary Schools. We then came up with 3 options, and those 3 options, what we call the post-option development, happened in April 2024. We had an open house to present those options. We had about 200 people who came in throughout the night to look at those particular options. And from the online survey that followed, we received 448 responses. In September 2024, the committee report on the options were presented to trustees at the September 24th public meeting and posted online. An online survey to gather feedback and questions or concerns went out until October 18th, of which we received 97 responses, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And then October 2024, here we are. The survey results were reviewed with the trustees at their October board meeting. The online surveys results were posted up for the public to see. And then now we're here with the special meeting to approve the boundary changes to come into effect in 25-26 school year. So when we did our feedback for the 3 options that the committee presented, we presented 3 options. The first option was to split the community of Copperwood and designate a portion to Nicholas Sharon. The second option was to relocate the Spanish bilingual program to Nicholas Sharon Elementary School, and the third option was to relocate the Spanish bilingual program to West Cooley Station Elementary. Through that survey of where we received 448 responses, the top choice was option 3, followed by the second choice was option 2, and the last choice was option 1. Also, when we looked at responses from Spanish bilingual program respondents, option 3 was the preferred option. It wasn't overwhelmingly, wasn't a little more dramatic as first choice, but it was the preferred option. So when we originally posted the recommendations from the school boundary committee, the original recommendations was to approve new boundaries under option 3, which included relocating the Spanish bilingual program to West Cooley Station, to provide a transportation solution for eligible students in the Spanish bilingual program, and to offer an exemption option to allow grade 4 students from White Mountain Horse and Nicholas Sharon Elementary Schools in the 24-25 school year to choose to remain at their current school for 25-26 academic year, grade 5. After some questions and concerns about siblings of the grade 4 students and questions related to middle school transportation in the Spanish bilingual program, the committee recommendations are now amended and revised to read the same as we have in the proposed motion. So number 1 stays the same, approval of the new boundaries under option 3, which includes relocating the Spanish bilingual program to West Cooley Station Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year, providing a transportation solution for eligible students in the Spanish bilingual program, both elementary and middle school, starting the 25-26 school year, and an exemption option grants students enrolled in grade 4 during the 2024-25 school year at Mike Mountain Horse and Nicholas Sharon Elementary Schools the option to remain at their current school for grade 5 in the 2025-2026 school year, rather than transferring to the new designated boundary school. The specific addition that this option will also be extended to their siblings and will apply exclusively for the 25-26 school year. So I'm going to explain that a little bit. What that means is any child, let's say we have a student in grade 4 right now at Mike Mountain Horse. In 25-26, that student moves into grade 5, and if they choose to stay in grade 5, then they're allowed to under this exemption option, grade 5. Let's assume they have a sibling that is currently in grade 1 and will be in grade 2 next year. Well, that grade 2 student could stay at Mike Mountain Horse and under this exemption would be allowed to do that in the 25-26 school year. After the 25-26 school year, so when they moved into grade 3, they would be considered an out-of-boundary student because they should be going to their new boundary school. And at that point, then we do have our school choice process, where you could they could apply under that to see if they wanted to stay at that school, to see if there's room and that sort of thing. So there is a process there. So that's how that works. Okay. Just further to these to the recommendations in the survey that followed. When we did put out the survey to get feedback on the recommendations, we had 97 respondents, and we did review this at the last meeting. But I'll highlight that of the 97 respondents, the majority were from Coalbanks Elementary School. We had the feedback on the proposed boundaries. I would say most of the response were no feedback was provided, or 55 of the 97. So we call that a neutral response. There were 26 comments that were positive for the changes and 16 that were not as favorable for the particular changes. And really those were mostly comments that we provided related to relocation of Spanish bilingual, because I would say in this particular boundary change, Spanish bilingual has the biggest impact in these decisions. We had some questions and concerns that we asked if there were any raised. We did see some questions related to before and after school care, and we will be announcing, we're scheduled to be announcing a new provider for the before and after school care program for West Cooley Station later this week. We comments about safe pathways to school, and we don't have any, responsibility for the safe pathways to school, but we can certainly work with the city of Lethbridge to see if there's any ways we can help move those along, because that was a question, a concern. Question about transportation. With this particular option on the table, we'd be providing a transportation solution for students in the Spanish bilingual program, and what that looks like is likely a yellow school bus for those in West Lethbridge, and possibly a other transportation solution such as a parent-provided contract, or maybe a transit pass if you're living in North Lethbridge or South Lethbridge. Again, we'd have to look at that. It depends on the number of students that are coming from those areas of the city. One of the concerns that we saw was related to. Sorry, I'm losing my thoughts. Oh, questions related to the exemption option and Coalbanks Elementary School. Questions whether students that are attending Coalbanks Elementary School in the Spanish bilingual can have the option to stay at Coalbanks for Spanish bilingual in 25-26. And of course, the answer to that would be no, because the whole program needs to move to the new school in order to be a viable program. And I think that addressed all those concerns. So I'm just highlighting for you one more time what the boundaries look like pictorially. We currently have 4 schools, so 4 different boundaries. When we open West Cooley Station under the new boundaries that are proposed, we will have 5 boundaries, and you can see the turquoise on the left. Upper left will be West Cooley Station. Number 2 is Mike Mountain Horse. Number 3 would be Nicholas Sharon in the green. 5 is Dr. Proby. There's no change to that boundary. And Coalbanks Elementary is number 4, and there's no change to the boundary. The only change with Coalbanks is the movement of the Spanish bilingual program to the new elementary school. And the change for Mike Mountain Horse is this most significant, as they are losing the Gary Station and Country Meadows catchment areas, and Nicholas Sharon is losing the crossings. We talked about the committee recommendations. How did option 3 address the guiding principles? We believe option 3 works well to successfully open West Cooley Station when we're looking at the community surrounding it, as well as adding the Spanish bilingual program. We will be addressing capacity concerns at Mike Mountain Horse by drawing down the enrollment to the new school. It also gives us an opportunity to remove some of the older relocatable classrooms that are in that school. We also will be, of course, by relocating a Spanish bilingual out of program, Coalbanks, we're hoping to provide Coalbanks with some breathing room and until we can get a new school built in the south end of West Lethbridge. We believe option 3 provides the best balance of enrollment out of all the options. For limiting disruption, we know boundary changes are always disruptive. They're difficult, and they can be emotional for families. And so we looked at the option that kept communities together, kept boundaries contiguous, tried to make sure that you were going to the closest boundary school. And as I said before, unfortunately, the biggest disruption is the movement of the Spanish bilingual program. And of course, them providing a little bit of transit kind of limited disruption by allowing grade 5s to finish their school year out and allowing siblings to stay with them for that year. And of course, minimize additional boundary changes in the short term. I do not have a crystal ball. We know West Lethbridge is the fastest growing area in West Lethbridge and will continue to grow. And development and how it goes out influences our growth, migration, immigration, economic conditions. So we do not have crystal balls. And so one could never guarantee that we wouldn't be sitting here 6 years from now having to do another boundary change. But hopefully you're doing a boundary change because you're getting a new school. You're opening a new school. So that's the next time. And so benefits and consequences really quick, just reminding, because we're not, of course, naive that there are pros and cons to any kind of decision. Benefits, as again, we believe it balances enrollment amongst our elementary schools, reduces our Coalbanks utilization to allow for future growth, doesn't impact the regular program at Coalbanks, it alleviates capacity concerns at Mike Mountain Horse. And of course, we're providing a transportation solution now for those attending Spanish bilingual at West Cooley Station and GS Lakey, if they meet the transportation eligibility requirements. And then, of course, consequences. We know the consequences is a disruption to our Spanish bilingual program families having to move to new school. West Cooley Station will open with significant enrollment. However, we know we have the ability to add 12 more modular classrooms and not impact core services because that school is built for 900 students. The potential for current Spanish bilingual program family members who live in Copperwood, they may switch to the regular program at Coalbanks and rather than continuing to attend Spanish bilingual at West Cooley Station. So we may not see as many people move over. So we may not see many people leave, but we do believe there will be a number who will move to the program as we know there's strongly believe in the cultural benefits. If you live across the street from the school in Copperwood, we could certainly understand why you may want to stay at that school. And our next steps. So if the recommendations are approved, there's a number of things that we're going to do and need to do. We're going to have communication about the new boundaries. We'll go out to school families in West Lethbridge, and we will send also to Lethbridge Realtors right away so that they know of the change. And so when they're communicating with new families coming in, people are aware. boundary information will be posted on the website, including frequently asked questions. And I believe Garrett has all that information at this time. I updated the frequently asked questions. It's its own document that people can look at online. New boundary maps will be created. So the boundary maps I use in our documents are certainly not the professional maps that we have created. Those will go out and be created. We will be posting new boundary maps on the division website. We'll be holding some engagement with Spanish bilingual program families about the move to West Cooley Station for 25-26. Boundary changes will be made in our student information system for registration, and the staffing process, of course, will begin to staff for West Cooley Station Elementary School. And then transportation routing will have to be changed for the 25-26 school year to accommodate Spanish bilingual. And transportation will work with Southland on what that looks like. And unfortunately, those aren't really known, unfortunately, until August. So there'll be some time before that occurs. And I believe that's it.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for all the work that you've done leading up to this point, and then to be presenting a summary of the information. So what we're going to do moving forward, we have 3 recommended motions before us. So what I am going to ask for is a movement of the first motion to begin discussion. And so I think that will just focus our conversation through each of the 3 motions. So if I could have someone bring the first motion, please. Christina.
I'd like to move to approve the new boundaries under option 3 as recommended by the committee and extensive feedback, which includes relocating the Spanish bilingual program to West Cooley Station Elementary School for the 2025-2026 school year.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And I will open the floor for discussion. Andrea.
Just a very friendly amendment. Perhaps it should say starting rather than just for that 1 year. And also, maybe we should clarify that we're moving the elementary Spanish program, just because in number 2, we talk about elementary and middle school, just so that clarification is clear that just the elementary is moving there.
Move to approve the new boundaries under option 3, which includes relocating the elementary Spanish bilingual program to West Cooley Station Elementary School, starting for the 2025-2026 school year. It's a friendly amendment. Do you accept that friendly amendment?
Alison.
I as well would like to make a friendly amendment, but looking to Christine Lee for some assistance. When I look at motions and look back at minutes in packages, I find it sometimes difficult when we say option 3, but we don't necessarily define that. So I would, in what I can see when I look back, I think it wouldn't be too much to add to include all of it rather than that option 3 includes. I would like that the motion clearly highlights exactly what option 3 is. So my understanding is that it's the crossings would move to the new school, as well as Mountain Meadows and Gary Station would move to the new school. I believe that would be the addition, but I would like some clarification from Christine Lee on that and see if that would be a friendly amendment.
That's a very good point. I think we should do that. Yeah, it would say motion to approve the new boundaries under option 3, which includes, and then let's do a colon. And we'll do this in bullets. Moved from Nicholas Sharon boundary with community crossings to West Cooley Station. Move from Mike Mountain Horse boundary to West Cooley Station, communities of Country Meadows and Gary Station. And then relocating the elementary Spanish bilingual program
to West Cooley Station Elementary School. These changes to be in effect starting for the 2025-2026 school year.
The only thing that I would ask is instead of the word includes, that option 3 is this, so that it doesn't imply that there might be something else that it includes
Which is,
too.
yep.
Which is, and
Which
then what
is-
you listed. Yeah,
And then those items. Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
If it's. Yes, you did.
Greg.
I also think it seems to me that we've taken heritage and moved it to Nicholas Sharon too, from Mountain Horse on option 3.
Heritage and Bridge Ridge have always been with Nicholas Sharon.
Okay. I thought there was, when we were discussing it, there was a little bit of heritage with going to Mike Mountain Horse, but I stand corrected. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All right. Before I vote, can I have the motion read? Is that possible? Tina, do you have the motion?
Oh, I'm going to try it one more time.
Okay.
Because I could, I'm just going to fix it.
Or I can also say as amended because we are all here. Yeah? Okay. All right, the motion is on the floor. Those in favor as amended. Those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. All right, can I have someone bring the second motion, please? Andrea.
I move to direct the board. Sorry, let me start again. I move that the board move to direct administration to provide a transportation solution for eligible students in the Spanish bilingual program, both elementary and middle school, starting the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you, Andrea. I will open for discussion on this motion. All right, seeing none, those in favor? Your hand up, okay, and that's carried. Thank you. All right, I'm looking for someone to bring forward the third and final motion, please. Christina.
I move to grant students enrolled in grade 4 during the 2024-2025 school year at Mike Mountain Horse and Nicholas Sharon Elementary Schools the option to remain at their current school for grade 5 in the 2025-2026 school year, rather than transferring to the newly designated boundary school. This option would also be extended to their siblings and apply exclusively for the 2025-2026 school year.
Excellent, thank you. I will now open this up for discussion. Christina.
I just want to appreciate the generosity of including siblings and taking that feedback. I think that's a notable difference from what other options have seen in the past. And so I want to appreciate that goal of keeping families as few transitions as possible, knowing that that's a challenge in a changing boundary system.
Allison.
And I just want to acknowledge as well, I think that when we did our engagement sessions, we did a lot of engagement, which was excellent. And I think that everything you see here honors the things that we had heard and allows us to answer to some of those concerns and comments that we heard through all of the engagement opportunities that we had, and whether that was emails, phone calls, school council meetings, or the sessions that we offered. So I think that this just helps to alleviate some of those challenges for families. I know that not everybody is going to be happy with all of this plan, but I think that this will help some of those families that need that option, and that our schools are open to have conversations with these families. So.
Thank you, Allison. Craig.
Just on the motion, were we going, and I can't remember from our discussion, but maybe Christine Lee can, were we still going to provide busing if necessary for those students to stay at those schools? And maybe Christine can answer that.
Option does not guarantee busing.
Okay. Thank you. I would just like to echo what Allison said. As chairman of this committee, we did a lot of work to try and be as open as possible, and I think we accomplished that, and as transparent as possible. We listened to the parents that came to our sessions, and we definitely listened to the voting that was done on our three options. So I appreciate the public being involved. I appreciate the committee and the hard work we did on it, and for the extra help that we had from our administration. So thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Jenny.
I just wanted to also, commend the committee for their work and for the effort that went into, especially the engagement opportunities and the sharing of that feedback throughout the process. I felt as a board we were kept apprised throughout the process, invited to be involved as well, and that great efforts were made to have a organized strategy and to work to receive as much input as we could and engagement as we could. And I saw that affect the work as it was done by the committee. And so just wanted to express my gratitude to the committee in development of strategy and execution of strategy, and then also in sharing the information in a very clear way and for an effective process. So thank you very much for all of those who were involved in that committee and all those who supported the work of that committee.
Thank you, Jenny. Anyone else? Andrea.
Those nights were so well organized, so thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate the committee and all the support that they had. And also thank you parents and community for coming out, because they really came out in droves. The cookies might have helped. And it was a really good process. So thank you for all of that.
And I echo all of the sentiments shared, and I do want to acknowledge the families, the parents who have expressed little ongoing displeasure with the change coming. Change is hard, and when that change revolves around your community school and who is your community, and you have family memories there, and there are your kids have connections, that's a very deep and personal loss. And so as a board, we do want to acknowledge that we see that and we acknowledge that, and we know that though change can be beneficial for the division as a whole, it's experienced on a personal level individually. And so we do wish all the families the best transition moving forward. And I thank our team for the work done so far, thus far to get us here. Just clear communication, ongoing communication, transparent communication. And I think the ongoing conversations that are going to happen to help families transition to the new school, to help the Spanish bilingual program transition to the new elementary school too. And so we look forward to stepping in those doors and connecting with the families there, and hoping to hear stories of success. Okay, we've each had an opportunity to speak, and the motion is on the floor. Are there any further comments? Christina.
Sorry if we're doing our little closing feeling statements. Can I do mine? Is that okay? Okay. I know we were saying not a huge public attendance today, but just knowing that some people will potentially watch, I just wanted to share a few words in Spanish to our Spanish families, if I could, if that's okay. So apologies for mispronouncing. The teachers can tell me later how I did it wrong. Hablo español, entonces quiero comunicar un poquito en español. A las familias y los maestros del programa de español, quiero decirles gracias por su participación y su compromiso con este programa desde muchos años. y su participación en ese proceso de participación pública. Quiero también decirles gracias a las escuelas de Colbanks por haber sido un hogar y una comunidad tan bueno por nuestros estudiantes y las familias hasta ahorita. Personalmente, aprender español y conocer las culturas donde se habla español ha ampliado a mi vida enormemente. Me imagino que muchos de ustedes comparten esta experiencia. El idioma español y las culturas son parte importante de nuestro mundo y, en particular, una parte importante de nuestro sistema escolar. Sabemos que este cambio podría ser difícil, pero espero también que puede ser una oportunidad de crecer y de invitar a más gente de juntarles con este programa y esta cultura. Nosotros esperamos verle todo en la nueva escuela en septiembre para una gran aventura. Juntos podemos hacerlo. Gracias.
Thank you, Christina. Mike?
Thank you. And just so you know, you might have saw, we were chuckling looking up at the screen because there was a little thing that came on that said, oh, you're in the wrong language. Do you want us to change the language? So teams picked up on that and thought you were doing a good job. So just so you know.
Andrea?
I also wanted to acknowledge the Spanish bilingual staff moving, because moving the elementary classroom is a huge undertaking, and I know that they will make their classrooms look just as beautiful in their new school. Thank them.
Thank you, Andrea. All right, the third motion is on the floor. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.